but today we're going to focus on chapters 5 through 9. So here's what I'd like to know. First of all, does anybody who's already read ahead, and it's great if you did, I'm glad if you did, if you've read chapters 5 through 9, is there an agent story or a rookie of the year story that you related to?
I'll speak.
Okay.
So I was a teacher. So
Oh,
the teacher one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. The teacher one, she just went to work. And a lot of teachers do have success in this business. Some don't, but I think most do. How about this? Based on 5 through 9, those chapters, did anybody kind of discern or decide what their fastest route to a lead, a client, a contract, or a paycheck was?
It's kind of like a weird story. Yesterday, I decided I'm gonna get off my butt and go door knock a couple properties. So I have RPR plus I subscribe to some crazy foreclosure software that I can pull up everything in the state of California. But I door knocked like 5 properties. And of course, they don't answer the door. They're usually home and you can obviously hear them in the house. But anyway, this one particular house, I door knocked and they've been in default for like quite a while. The lady listened to me for like about a hot second. She kind of had an attitude, but I actually know her sister. We went to high school together.
Okay.
Who didn't ask her to sign in, leaving the card or whatever. Her sister actually called me later, and I'm probably going to have an appointment in the next couple of days. They're going to probably sell it. And this house is like 700 plus. This is Los Angeles. It's in Inglewood, actually. It's about maybe 3 miles from the new stadium.
Okay.
So it's just weird. It's just, the whole thing is have more conversations, get her off your butt.
Yep.
Stop trying to rethink it,
Yeah.
Go talk to anyway, that's my 2 cents.
No, that's good. No, that dials it right into what we're going to be talking about a little bit tonight. So, okay, good. And then this one's for Gina and Newell. I was thinking about you in this chapter.
Yeah, actually, I was thinking that the same thing. I read all the way to chapter 10, and then the last time it was, I could never get a hold of people. So I also have certification as a probate real estate specialist. And because of COVID, a little bit more people are passing away, unfortunately. And therefore, I was all day yesterday, I was working the probate area. And it's really nice because you can do everything online at from the courthouse. You don't have to actually go to the courthouse, which is closed, of course. So anyway, so I thought, and then I reference it. First, I do RPR to see does the person own the property, because sometimes they live with somebody else or are renting. So that's the number one I did. Number 2 is then I look at the probate to see who the personal representative is. And then number 3 is I go to Folio to see what the personal representative's phone number is. And then I try to call a number of people, and either I didn't have the right number or they didn't answer whatsoever. So I didn't get a hold of anybody, but I will continue. I mean, I have like a stack of 25 that I'll get to tomorrow. But if I don't get a hold of them, then I send them a postcard. So okay. We'll see what that entails.
That's good. That's good. So great. Thank you for that one. And then the last kind of question was, how is your internal dialogue? Like, what are you truly telling yourself? Because if your mindset can make or break you, how are you doing? And have you developed a mantra for the next quarter? So
I wish I could say that's true, but I'm more of a realist, and so when I call somebody and say, no, that this isn't this person's number, and then it's like, well, where do you go from there? Because if you don't have, I mean, I went to White Pages, obviously Folio, I have a membership or a subscription to. So it's hard to get people, and there's people, of course, but I'm going to tell you, they're old and they don't have even email addresses, and so it's, I don't know how you get a hold of people if they don't have an email or cell phone.
So I was thinking about you a lot in this part of the book. So we're We're going to work on you, Gina. I'm going to get you going.
Good. That's
All right,
exactly what I need.
All right.
Can I say something, Dave, Sylvia?
Absolutely.
This
Charlene.
is Charlene from Vegas. Well, I have to take the state part of Nevada exam. So I was thinking my fastest way to leads would be my credit restoration business. You know, I help other real estate agents get their clients ready to purchase a home.
Yep.
So while I'm studying for the exam, I can continue to help them, you know, build their pipelines and then get to know them across the state. And then so when they have somebody in my area, they can start referring me. So that was my first thought.
Yeah, no, that's great. Thank you.
My internal dialogue is I'm ready to get started, but I gotta wait till the test, and you got this COVID stuff, so they're not testing as much, you know, but I'm gonna get through it because I am a doer and I get things done now. That's what I'm telling myself.
Now, did you
Yes.
where did you, yes, that's good. Yes, thank you, Kim. Where did you move from, Charlene?
Texas.
Okay, are you still licensed in Texas or able to practice real estate in Texas?
Yes, I'm still licensed, active in Texas, but I don't know how I can get that rolling from Vegas.
You're an EXP, yes?
Yes,
And how long have you been with EXP?
going on 2 years.
Okay, so do you have your kvcore working to get leads from that area so you can refer stuff out?
Ha!
What? There you go. You work on getting leads, okay, from your kvcore website and work your whole database work your entire database, that your Texas people and your sphere, and see who needs you, because they need somebody and you're going to refer them to other agents and you're going to charge like 25% if it's just a basic lead. But if it's somebody you've converted that's like pre-approved, do 35%, do 30%. That's what Op City charges. So there you go. Okay, we got you.
All right. Thank you.
All right. You guys make me feel like a genius. Okay. All right. All right. Sometimes you just need to talk it through though, right? And hear what somebody else is thinking about it. So cool. All right. Okay.
Hey,
So what?
One thing that I'd like to add,
Yes, Kelly.
for Gina,
Yeah.
I'm also a Spokio user, and I found another way to go sometimes when Spokio doesn't give you good information. It's called
Wonderful.
Free People Search. I don't know if you ever used it, .com.
Anyway, let's move on. Okay, here. So often when you think you're at the end of something, you're at the beginning of something else. Isn't that fun? All right, so let's go through some of these new agent stories really quick. So Stephanie, she was a newly divorced mom of 2 teens in a high-end neighborhood, and she needed financial solutions fast, to be a strong role model for her daughters, and also she needed money. So she crushed her first year. She took most trainings twice, because it took her, a longer time to kind of get it or to feel confident. So once she took those trainings, she started running circles around like the super prepared, smart systems people, because she just had clarity and she had gumption and she had grit. And Julie's defining grit as the power of passion and perseverance as described in a TED Talk. And we'll get more to that. Then there's William. He was a single dad with 2 small boys. Julie described him as soft-spoken and that he struggled to set a goal. He was a little unclear in his direction to go full-time, but he had good eye contact and he was pleasant. That's how she described him. But what was good about him is he identified his assets. He understood what he did have at his disposal. He said, well, I have a large family and I know a lot of people in the community. And then he really learned as he worked on it that he was willing to talk to anybody. So he just doubled down on those types of things. And his wheelhouse, he identified his wheelhouse that he had an extensive network in a specific geographic area, and he did 3 million volume in his first year as a part-time agent. And I guess if you're not in LA, that's good. Okay. Charlene, let's talk about it at the end because it's my class is the best one, I think. but anyway, we'll talk about that and give you some options. Okay. All right, then there's Melanie. Melanie was a former VP in high-end marketing industry for e-commerce leaders, and she was working 80 hours a week, and her father was declining in a different city. And so she needed a solution for moving to be close to her dad, and she also wanted a change. She didn't want to work that much. So her move towards real estate was a little more gradual. While she was working on marketing contract gigs, she was like working on real estate too. And eventually she made the full-time move to real estate. Then there was Sam. He was a 60-something nonprofit executive. He was married and had 2 teenagers. There was a lack of funding in his nonprofit world, and that forced him to find a new career solution. So what's great about him is he trusted the training and the best practice recommendations. Like, this is what you're going to do. You're going to get on the phones every day and you're going to dial for 2 hours or whatever. and you're going to do that. So he assumed that these recommendations were proven. And so he did everything he was taught without hesitation or ego. And he just ran with the industry standards. He embraced phone prospecting 2 to 3 hours in the morning and showing homes to buyers most afternoons. Boom. Okay. All right. So that's some new agent stories. Now let's go into some more success stories. These are rookie of the year type stories. This is from chapter 6, and some lessons that we're going to focus on is capitalize who you truly are, be your authentic self. A narrow focus, this one really got to me this week. I'm like, oh, I got to figure out how to narrow my focus. Narrow your focus can mean going quickly, taking one aspect of the business, your personality or proximity, and going all in on one thing. When your focus is narrow, you will be an expert faster than with a wide scope approach. Confidence on day one, when you focus on something you know, is what you'll get. All right. So let's go through this one. Okay. So she gives him these little titles. Minister guy in Mississippi. And the tidbit here is 1 call a day. So this guy, his real passion was just training other pastors. That's what he did. That was his mission in life. And he needed real estate to fund that mission. So his asset, the thing that he had at his disposal, is that he just knew a lot of people. So what he did is he just made 1 real estate call every day with this script. In order to continue making an impact on churches and ministers in our area, I have to have 3 real estate appointments every week. Who do you know thinking about buying or selling? And will you make an introduction for us to meet? So, I think, well, gee, I'm not a minister or doing any mission trips, so I can't really tap into that, but maybe you could think about how you could tweak this for yourself. And I've got some ideas, but I don't want to make it complicated, so I'm not going to go into it. I'm just going to go through this and then we can talk. Okay, then there's the door knocker in Canada. I like this one. New shoes every 3 months. So he used to sell air conditioning units door to door in Canada. Okay, so it's a little bit colder in Canada, air conditioning. So his life was knocking on doors 8 hours a day in his previous career. And he learned that he could seriously increase his paycheck door knocking in real estate for just 4 hours a day and get a higher paycheck and door knock less. So he was like, I'm all in with that. So he learned that real estate top producers lead gen, their lead gen benchmark or their standard, the top producers were like 3 to 4 hours of prospecting a day. Like the industry standard, I would say, is 2 hours a day. But if you just want to kill, maybe 3 to 4 hours of prospecting a day. So that's what he did. And he was all in and he became a National Rookie of the Year finalist. Then there's this one investor in Vegas. He was soft-spoken. So this 50-something mild guy had been personally investing in real estate. He had a full-time casino job. He was just doing flips and helped other friends do flips on the side. He was the go-to helpful guy before he had his license. So, oh, hey, so-and-so, you flipped a house. What did you do? And he was just kind of that guy. He had no budget. He didn't have any tech experience. He was a low tech guy. He wasn't salesy, but people liked him and trusted him. And so he got all his clients from his sphere, and he was all in with just having those assets and became Rookie of the Year finalist. Then the teacher in South Dakota. Her goal was to be home every day at 3. So she was 40 years old and she was tired of teaching, and she wanted to be able to be home and meet her own kids at the bus after school. She was in a really low price point than in Canada or in Vegas, but she sold twice as many homes. She had hustle and she knew everybody. And again, I have a typo, knew everyone. She hired an assistant early because she needed more time in front of clients. And she knew that innately. And so being home at 3 for her kids was non-negotiable. Her clients knew that, and she was set up the expectations, and she was a Rookie of the Year finalist. Then there's the high end in LA, spending money to make money. This is a 30-something person targeting luxury market immediately, because that's just what he wanted to focus on. He knew that to reach these people, he had to have expensive high marketing and support to make that happen. And he did that. She didn't say much more about that, just that he was a Rookie of the Year finalist. Then there's this one, international in NYC. She called this woman the Power Package. She was a 40-ish European in Manhattan. She had an international business degree. She dressed to kill. You can just, she targeted international buyers. She did 100% of her marketing online to attract international buyers, and she was a Rookie of the Year finalist. Then there was the FSBO guy, 21 in 3 months. He had 21 listings within 3 months of being licensed. He had a very narrow focus, and that was FSBO's is all he did. He referred everything else out. He was a Rookie of the Year finalist. Yeah, yay, Charlene's like cheering. Okay, one car, one neighborhood. So this person, she serviced her immediate walkable neighborhood because she didn't have use of a car because her husband had to take the car to work and cash was really tight. So she just went all in on one neighborhood and walked everywhere she could, door knocking, and that was her marketing. All right, and okay, so here's some insights for these success stories. All right, it started with a mindset. This is like just like little what do you call snippets from what people said that had these successes. So imagine, you're interviewing one of these success stories and you say, well, how did you do it? So somebody said it started with a mindset. Another person said they used the script, who have you talked to in the last 30 days who has mentioned real estate to you? And so you get like referrals that way. Another person expected referrals from their top 25 people and then treated those referrals accordingly, like gold. Mistakes were made. Time management and fear of signing the buyer agency were mistakes somebody had to overcome. Another person said, no one told me my first listing couldn't be a $2 million mansion. Okay. Another person said, well, I was just going to out hustle everybody. And I prepared my family for an intense year. Another person said, well, my broker told me I had to sign a new client every week. So that's what I did. Can you imagine being that compliant? All right. So as far as the book and reading the book, Julie encourages us, when you come across a message that captures your attention, pause and write it down. So she gives an example of somebody she's worked with, a single mom in Texas, who said she focused on 2 Juliisms, is what this person called them. She said this took her from 0 to company honors. And she said, she always just asked herself, where are my next 3 leads? And I'm prospecting 2 hours a day. And so Julie is also encouraging us as we go through this book to look for ahas and take notes and journal. Okay. All right. Any comments so far?
I guess we all need to have more conversations.
We all need to have a lot more conversations. Yes. And we're going to get more into that, and for sure. And that's what the premise really of this whole book is. It's just, it's taking us a little bit to get there, because I think Julie understands that she's really got to talk some of us into what we have to understand, or what we need to understand, what it takes to succeed. We have to understand, what does it really take to succeed? So she's kind of just drilling it in first and getting us ready for the action. All right. So chapter 7, the title of this chapter is Quickly. So some key points is that the long game that we talked about last time, the long game includes, you're building your client experience and your customer service, and building your relationships, and understanding what your systems are going to be, and doing marketing, and having a marketing plan, and knowing your market knowledge, your real estate market knowledge, and being a part of the community. So that's all long game stuff. But because those of us here who are launching or relaunching or rebooting or whatever, pivoting, whatever you want to call it, we are working on the short game. And that means we need clients right now. Clients quickly, clients quickly. So the faster you get clients, the sooner you can work on the long game, right? Does that make sense? So clients quickly, not I gotta build my Facebook business page, although I do recommend that because it doesn't take long. It's like a 10-minute thing. Creating a newsletter or redesigning a website, that's not stuff you really have to work on right now. Right now, what you need is clients quickly. Okay. All right. So here's a quote. Grit is passion and perseverance for very long-term goals. Grit is sticking with your future day in and day out, working really hard to make your future a reality. And that's from a TED Talk quote. So let's go through this, the idea of clients quickly. So Julie says to write it down, say it out loud, repeat it until you believe it, put it on a sticky note, whatever you got to do. Clients quickly. That should be your mantra. That's what you're telling yourself. That's what you're filling in to your brain, so that when it doesn't have anything else to put there, it will call that up. Clients quickly. Okay, what am I going to do today? Clients quickly. All right. So she gives her example, what we talked about last week, when she said she was, she had a goal to do $10 million of sales in 10 months in her relaunch effort. She was saying she knew to be successful and to have a successful relaunch, it required her to have clients quickly. And she said systems and then clients would be too slow and her time would be lost. So grit and urgency to build your pipeline, and her pipeline at the time, that was most important to her to have a successful relaunch. And it feels like when she's going through this, she's like beating a dead horse, but again, I think she does have, some of us are very stubborn. Right, Kelly? I'm talking to Kelly.
Yeah.
All right. So clients first and fast. Find your next 10 leads and clients quickly. And then guess what? Your next 10. Okay. I talk to a lot of real estate agents and they're like, oh, I've got my sister's, brother-in-law wants to buy something in the spring. And so I got that lead, and, that's not even that's maybe, that could be gravy. That's not, that's not 10 leads quickly. That's not 10 clients now. So don't even include that one. All right. So, but it involves having meaningful real estate conversations with key people in your life. Don't let spreadsheets or marketing ideas rob you of your time. And, Julie says when she was relaunching, she had the sticky note in front of her on her steering wheel when she was driving. What is your fastest route to a lead, a client, a contract, or a paycheck today? Ah, nice. Kim's got it. She wrote it. I love it.
I actually took a picture of it, stuck to my laptop today, and I gave it to the picture to her in workplace.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love it. You did it. You followed her directions.
Yeah. Well, I posted it on her page and I just said, guess what I'm reading?
I love it because she said in the book, you know, take a picture of your sticky note and send it to me. So that's awesome. All right, good job. Okay. So anyway, so figure out what that thing is to do to get that client quickly and do that thing first. All right, so this is a continued part of this clients first and fast. If you're brand new, the most important thing is to get your first 10 clients quickly. And if you're relaunching, it's your next 10. And I want to say to Charlene, you know, besides passing your Las Vegas exam, your job is to get your next 10 referrals to be able to refer out to people in Texas. Okay. All right. So always work on finding your next 10 leads and then follow up with those leads and then repeat. Get the next 10, follow up with them, repeat. Get the next 10, follow up with them, repeat. Don't delay your momentum. If you want a fast start, if you want a better bank account, if you need cash flow, join the Momentum Club. I liked that. Does anybody have anything to say about this? Or what we've talked about so far?
I think
What now?
what about joining the Momentum Club? I like that.
Yeah, well, it just means you're in it. You know, if you're working, you're doing activity, all the activity that you know is going to get you a client quickly that involves you having real estate conversations. If you're doing that, you're in the Momentum Club. I like it. So chapter 8, what are you telling yourself? And this is for Gina. All right. Train your brain. Yes, good girl. Train your brain muscles to have the mindset of the following. I came here to succeed. I do what it takes to create my success on purpose. I take meaningful steps toward my goals daily, or I take a meaningful step towards my goals daily. So what is your philosophy that grounds you as you pursue your dreams? So Gina, I want you to unmute yourself and go to page 78.
I'm there.
Okay. And I want you to read, you know, see the bullet points of,
Yeah.
you know, I want you to read that whole section after the bullet points up to wildly imperfect, where it says your mindset is your foundation. I want you to start there.
Oh, your mindset is your foundation. So of course we are going to spend some time here. A bit of my personal philosophy, my compass, my foundation looks like this. Life is fair, fair and beautiful. And then everything is easy and belongs. I'm creating massive financial opportunity. I do something concrete every day that moves me toward my goal. And I've got this.
One of the things that I really liked about this chapter is it talks about, you know, when you get stuck in prep mode and you're always, you know, getting ready to get ready, right? And I'm guilty of that. I do that all the time because I'm, you know, perfectionist, and I'm trying to fight that all the time.
And I know you are, Kelly.
I completely related to that too, like 100%. I'm so stuck in getting ready to get ready. I definitely need to.
Yeah, you need to stop. New agents like you, Kim, you have to gain traction before you know what you're doing. Don't get caught in the getting to get ready syndrome. Your broker or mentor will help you with your first few clients. If you tell them what you need and you're on top of it, your job is to go get those clients quickly though. Relaunching agents may have the contracts and process down. So our job is to focus on building traction and building our pipeline. So this book and this program is about consistently finding business. So here's a quote. You can only become truly accomplished at something you love. Don't make money your goal. Pursue the things you love doing and then do them so well that people can't take their eyes off of you. So this was an interesting one for me. When I tell people about getting into real estate, I've never cared. I mean, houses are nice. I mean, I like nice houses are neat and different house designs are nice, but I've never like been something, oh, I love houses. I got into real estate because I wanted the entrepreneur life. I didn't want to have a boss. I wanted the funds to be able to do what I wanted to be able to, you know, always swipe my debit card and know it would go through and say approved. Like that's what I wanted. And that's what I love. So this was an interesting one for me. So I Heart Real Estate was the name of this section. And so, but think about what it is. Is it real estate? Is it homes? Is it people? Is it success? Is it your bank account? Is it being an entrepreneur? Pick one. You know, and as you do this business, you realize the things that you do love. Like I really do love negotiating now. And like seeing like how much further can we push this? Will we still hold the deal together with this? And I love like connecting with that other agent and making a connection with that other agent the best that I can to keep, because the stronger relationship I have with that other agent, to make them feel, and I'm authentic in this, to let them know that we're on the same team and we're in this together, and how can we make this deal work together. I love doing that. And so, you know, you'll find as you go through the business, what are the things you love? You know, I also, I took this many years ago. I took the test. It's a book called Strength Finder 2.0, and it gives you like your top 5 like strengths so that you can learn how to work from your strengths. And one of my top one is achievement. Like I love to achieve things. And so for me, every time I do achieve something, even just getting a lead's name, email number, and getting to talk to them, that's another achievement. And so I thrive off those things. So anyway, find what you love, and you know, and find the joy in that. So you need at least one solid motivation that when you get bumps in the road, you won't be shaken. So like, you know, when nobody answers the phone, when you call for 2 hours straight, you know, that's a bump in the road, but your motivation is so strong, you don't care. You just go next, you know, or, you know, we have a really difficult client who makes you cry and makes you feel like the most terrible agent in the world. That's a bump in the road. Next, you know, so anyway, so she goes on to talk about identifying your core motivation. I think 60, but I think I meant 80.
That is 80.
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. I think I wasn't thinking. She talks about finding, you know, 1 or 2 things that speak to you, that represent you at a deep level and which applies to you. And maybe some of them do, or maybe some of what I said does, or whatever. But because if you're new, you don't really know yet. But I love to talk houses with anybody who will listen. I attract people. I like to talk to people. I'm generally a confident person. I stop into open houses just to see how people live or decorate. I spend hours on real estate websites. I redesign houses when I'm in them. Ooh, you could move this wall. You could open up this room. You could add a window and a French door. I like to win. I'm financially motivated. I'm known as a hard worker. I want to own my own business. I am motivated to support my family at a new level. So what is your motivation for this business? Well, it's not a pass-fail test. The concept here is your commitment, your resolve. Are you committed to making this career choice work? And she says, you know, she's seen agents succeed at high levels while others get frustrated and fall out. Because the motivation can be your cornerstone. So she also talks about sharing your vision with big thinkers and having enough resolve on your own that the small thinkers won't sway you. So, you know, some people who are, you know, they're just used to like job security and getting a paycheck every 2 weeks and having benefits, telling them that you're going to be in a full commission type job can scare people. And they, you know, or maybe they always want to do it and never could, so they don't think you can. You know, I mean, a parent can do that to you. You know, a loved one, your best friend can say these things to you, and you have to, you know, protect your mind, because, you know, you want to know what you want and where you stand, and know what your motivation is. So when the naysayers, you know, come around, you're like, you can just take it with a grain of salt. Then there's the full-time or part-time showing up pro section. So she talks about, and this was kind of interesting to me, you know, being full-time or part-time is relative. There's no industry definition for full-time. How much time you spend, you know, doing real estate, quote unquote, is up to you and your goals. She does go on to say, you know, in our code of ethics says, you know, you should know what you're doing to represent clients at a high level. And if you don't know, then bring mentors in to help you do that. So like I had a commercial deal recently, 2 of them. And commercials new to me. I didn't know what I was doing. I had to get mentors and I had to pay them 50% or because I didn't know what I was doing and I needed them to help me. And so, you know, that I needed their expertise and I needed them to check my work and to know what to do next because it's a completely different game than residential. So, but anyway, the point is whether you serve like 24 clients in a year or just 4, ultimately you're going to need to say the same market knowledge and the same contract knowledge no matter what. So no matter what, your client deserves a professional. So whether you're full-time or part-time doesn't matter. Now, if you want to shift into full-time, that's a different story. But before I go on, I see there's some chats here. Success is the best revenge. All right. Okay, good. Your background, Kelly. Oh, I know, huh, Kelly? Yes, I know. My background's pretty fancy. All right, so shifting into full-time. So pick a jump-off time. So either a date on the calendar, or maybe it's, you know, how much money you have in the bank, or both. And you guys know how I feel about this. If you came last time, I said, you know, people will tell you, and even Julie recommends, like, oh, have 6 months of living expenses saved up, you know, before you go all in real estate. And I'm just such a different animal when it comes to that. I think if I had 6 months of savings, I'd be like, okay, I'm going to go take a vacation now. But if I'm poor and I know that if I don't get a paycheck by next month, I'm going to have to like do Uber or, or get a client, you know what I mean? So I'm just motivated by urgency. So you have to decide for yourself. So building accountability, tell your friends and family about your target, know your situation, like how bad, you know, do you need medical insurance? Like, are one of your kids like really sick and they're going to need insurance? So how are you going to navigate that? Can you use the EXP agent healthcare or healthcare options offered through NAR? Or, you know, do you have a significant other that has, you know, what are you going to do there if that's a stressor for you? So kind of plan that out, obviously. You can. And just remember that every successful agent had a first year in the business, whether it was like great or rocky or whatever. We all experienced a first year. And so she jokes that, you know, at her training, she says, raise your hand if you ever had a first year in the business. Like, we've all been there. Then we've got this quote, I have been impressed with the urgency of doing. Knowing is not enough, we must apply. Being willing is not enough, we must do. So it's like a little Yoda quote there from Leonardo da Vinci. And this is the final chapter we're going to talk about tonight. And then we're going to talk about the action items to get started with, and then we'll end, okay? All right. So it's a race. So Julie asks us, what if the speed at which you gained your first 10 clients had more to do with your longevity in the business than your talent? So think about that. So then she says, well, that's her whole argument. The key to success is gaining clients and a pipeline quickly. Like any race, you can train for it. And so she talks about 5 factors and how you can position yourself in the race with these different aspects of the race. So first aspect or first factor is your psyche. So clients quickly is going to do more for your psyche than any self-help book. So like when you've got transactions on the board and closing dates set up, and then those dates start closing, you know, that's going to do more for you than anything. And then she goes on to talk about the reticular activating system. If you don't know much about the reticular activating system and you want to know more about this, I want to recommend a book to you. It's called The Power of Consistency. And it is by Weldon Long. And to me, it's just like it probably was like one of the most life-changing books for me, even though it's just super simple. And he really explains it in just layman terms about the reticular activating system. And it just, I don't know. Anyway, I highly recommend the book either way. But, you know, the basic premise is what you think about, you bring about, you know. So if you buy a new car, and it's, you know, a red Corvette, then all you see on the road is red Corvettes. You know, it's that whole idea. So it's like this filter that you start seeing through. So without clients or leads or answered phone calls, Gina, your brain starts looking for things to fill in the gaps. And your brain is going to support that inner dialogue. So if your inner dialogue is, I've got this, I can do this, I'm working towards this, everything's working out for me, everything's always working out for me, that's what's going to show up there. Or I'm not sure I like this, or people don't answer the phone. I don't know where to go from here, those things. So really creating a mantra that's going to get that committee in your head to work in your favor. Okay, so it's psyche.
Sylvia, I just wanted to comment. This is so true. So I'm not a new agent, and I'm certainly not relaunching, but I am looking for that next level. So we closed close to 50 transactions last year, but we've been consistently in that place for several years. So we've been trying to figure out, what is that's preventing us? What's the speed bump? What's in our way? And this part of the book was really important, I feel like, at least for me. It's that junk in, junk out.
Yep.
Your psyche. And so one of the things that stood out most for me is, getting to the next level isn't going to happen if the self-talk and the psyche aren't in place. So this whole, these 5 factors in the race, this section of the book was very pivotal for me because I kept looking for, what is that thing? And so I was listening and listening and listening, and all of it was really great reminders. It was like being in 101 again, which was awesome. But, but we hit this part, and I just was like, yes, this is exactly what I needed to hear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, and I think, I appreciate this, that you're saying this, because when you have 50 transactions a year, you're doing really well. I mean, that's great. And so, I can imagine, like, okay, I do want to get to this next level. I want to increase it for, because we have these other goals. It's like pushing your ceiling up when you're already kind of comfy has got to be like, it's like, when you're in you're a runner and, you're doing already a 4-minute mile, but there's other people who can already do a 3.5-minute mile, and like, well, I need to get there. And it's like pushing yourself to do that. It's
exactly. And there are 2 of us. So it sounds like a lot of transactions, but I am full-time real estate and part-time the other business. She's full-time. So that sounds like a lot. There are 2 of us dedicated full-time to it, but it's that reducing that race time, or just some sense of self-competition, right? That keeps you in the game. Like you said, I'm very competitive. And so looking for what that is that keeps you in it, and remembering what that is, and then how to get there. That reduced race time was really great. I'm going to write that down.
Well, because, when I think about you guys, too, like, maybe you're doing the 50 transactions, but how much time is it taking you? Like, what is it that you have to do to get to the next level, so you can do that much in less time, or do that much, but make more money, so yeah, it's interesting. No, I appreciate you bringing that up. Thank you. All right. So the next thing is factor 2, the 60 to 90 days. So that every paycheck on the horizon is 60 to 90 days out. But the way to get a paycheck every week, or a few paychecks a week, I like when I get a few paychecks a week, or a paycheck every 2 weeks, like if you're used to coming from that regular job world. The way to do that is to build a healthy pipeline of clients. And so when you're new, a majority of our clients that are going to turn into business eventually, they're going to take some time. It's going to be like I was saying, that, your cousin so-and-so wants to list their house maybe in June. That's great. But what are you going to do today? So she's talking about, well, FSBOs, or financially qualified buyers. So thinking about Charlene's credit repair business, those people can become transactions now. So finding those motivated and qualified clients now, those are the ideal focus for clients. Those that are ready to do something in 30 to 60 days. All right. And we're going to get to the how-tos for you newbies. And just for those of us that need to pivot or just really need to dial it in, like what are the activities I'm really supposed to be doing, you know, to really take that to the next level. So we'll get there. So factor 3, your bank account. So, you know, the financial cushion you need to get started. Is it, you need 2 months of cushion? Do you need 6 months of cushion? Again, you know how I feel about that. You have to decide. And the thing is that time flies and you can get sucked in to this ramp up portion of the business, Kim Clark. So you have to just always remember it's a race. The other factor is confidence. You gain skills and confidence faster by doing. Experience is the best teacher. And then she references John Maxwell's book, Failing Forward, Turning Mistakes into Stepping Stones for Success. Fail often, faster, and better. So failure is a good thing because it's going to get you to that next level. Get out of your head and into action because it's a race. Somebody's chatting. Okay, Kelly. All right. Then factor 5, nothing is leads to nothing. Nothing is the factor. So you might be fabulous and you might be even a seasoned agent. You know, you might be doing 50 transactions a year. Or you might just have all this talent to bring to the table, all this good energy. You know, you can talk to anybody, but you know, if you don't have a client, then you don't have anything. If you don't have 10 clients, you might not have anything. So if you have a great degree, cool. But if you have no job, you have nothing. So getting clients quickly, get there faster than everyone else. It's a race. You guys got it now? It's a race. All right, so our last slide is the action items. And then I'm going to share these and give us our first action item, and then we're going to end, okay? Until next week. So the action items are designed to help you create traction. Your job description is having as many conversations with people about real estate as you can. That is your job description. So every day, wake up and say, what's my job description? Well, I have to have as many conversations with people about real estate as I can. Every day, every single day, you have to do something to find your next lead or 10 leads every single day. Embrace the 8 a.m. mantra, 8 a.m. mantra of clients quickly. I know an agent, you know, a younger woman who, she's like, well, I don't get up till 10. Well, you might want to change that. You know, and then she wonders why she's not doing a lot of business. Well, you got to get up. You got to get up and do stuff. So her action item 1 is call your mother or a designated BFF. So I put in the chat here, link to downloads, but I'm going to share them here. Have any trouble? Remember, you can go to nelsonproject.org and find the book downloads. Is this these action items? So let me move this screen. And I'm just going to kind of read this part. So these are the intro, the action items. And I just want to say too, like basically everything I shared with you, that whole link I shared with you, that's basically the workbook. Okay. So you don't have to have the paper copy of the workbook. It's all pretty much here. So we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, but a habit. So this free download is available for any agent who happens to have found their way. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Your success will have everything to do with building your stamina and consistency around the simple principle of pipeline building, the core repetitive activity of talking with people and cultivating opportunity. Stop overcomplicating this business. Get on the offense with this. You are always building your pipeline. You're always looking for and nurturing the next 5 to 10 leads. Always, always, always. Print this document and use it as your tool to build your business. Park it on these activities and rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat the action items and do it over and over again, 10 to 15 hours per week. 10 to 15 hours per week. And that alone will build your successful real estate pipeline. Not all of these will speak to you, so find the ones that do resonate and get busy. So the first one, her first assignment for us, so the first action item that we're going to focus on right now is calling your mother or a sister or a best friend, or maybe a handful of people you used to work with, whoever it's gonna be, okay? All right, somebody, call people that you know. And then say something like this. So this is great for the brand new agent. So if you just switched to eXp Realty, or if even if you are a seasoned agent, just you know how to, if you're a seasoned agent, then you know how to tweak this to make this work for you. So, hey mom, sister, BFF, I just started at eXp Realty today. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Wish I had done this earlier. I need your help. And so for me, being been in the business a little bit, I would say, hey, so-and-so, I'm still with eXp Realty. I'm still in full-time real estate. I'm so excited about this year. I think it's going to be a great year and I need your help. Okay. So that's how I would switch it. All right. And you can say, this is day one of a new program I'm working on to get my business going for the year. And my first assignment was to call you. This business is referral based and I have big goals. Will you help me? It's my job to know the real estate needs of my friends and family and their friends and families. And so there's a basic question, actually 2 questions that I need to ask. Are you anticipating any real estate needs this year? And who do you know who might need my services this year? It's pretty much my job to ask this question, and who better to start with than you? I really appreciate your support. And really anybody in your sphere you can use a script or a version of the script on. Okay, so so that's our first action item. Okay, now if I shared everything with you here, I'll go back. So there's a bunch of action items you can go through, you can start with, but she's got like your recipe of like your basic business goals, like $100,000 a year recipe, your action items, your boss performance, which we're going to get to, your power questions, which we'll get to. So all you really need to know now is to go through these action items. Okay. And start with that first script and kind of tweak it for your use. And I would say not just your mother or your best friend, but push yourself if you can, if you're, been around a while, especially to everybody that you know. All right.